Alright, it's time to finally cast some pub games. Just been on Dota 2 Pro Tracker and I've picked a random replay. This one we've got quite a bunch of players you might know from tournaments or from high level pubs. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to refer to the hero names instead of the player names, so it's easier for me. The other thing would be, obviously, we're going to call the teams Radiant and Dire. And the third thing going to be we are not going to cast any techies games. Because I value my time and I don't want to be casting for 2 hours because I might lose my voice after a time. And something I'm looking forward to is actually going to be the mid lane, because we have Viper against the Morphling. As you know, that should be quite a hard lane for the Morphling. We've got basic stuff going on right now. Dire's wrapping around inside the Radiant jungle, trying to fight for the rune. Maybe they can catch someone off guard. But it seems like Radiant is aware of what's going on right now. Mirana's going to scout it out. There's the rocket from Gyro. But nothing too much going to happen over here, since they are protected by the tier 1 mid tower.
The battle begins.
For the rune fight, the arrow's not going to connect and they are going to trade runes. Now I might actually hit the Gyro on the right side, but he's fine. On the mid lane we've got 2 high ground wards going on. That's very important if you're playing actually against the Viper, so you can draw aggro on the high ground, but it also means Viper is going to find out that there's a ward on this high ground. Maybe I can also pull up the last hits and denies real quick, so we have a bunch of information going on. And as you can see, Morphling is getting bullied. He's already at 5 stacks on the poison sting. Poison attack, sorry. Sometimes you mix up the names of the spells. On the bot lane, we have the Elder Titan probably going down to... There it is, first blood for the Gyrocopter. And something that's quite interesting for this game is actually that they've swapped around the lanes. So probably Dire tried to dodge the Ursa into X matchup, so they get Gyro into Ursa. But Radiant was quick and also swapped the lanes around, so we do have a favorable matchup on the top lane for the Radiant side. The Ursa against the X. Okay. On the mid lane, quite impressive. The region game is quite similar on both sides. On the top lane, we have some more action, but there shouldn't be a kill around here, as he misses the arrow while I say it. And talking about this lane, we do have the X going aggressive onto the Ursa, getting a few spins. Ursa's at 100 HP, but he is protected by his tower. And do they have any regen? Yes, they do have a salve on Mirana. So Ursa is going to be laning again right now. And as we are casting, I get a Steam message that shouldn't be here, but it's okay. Though you never know what life is going to throw at you. Right, so looking at the CS, on the bot lane we have 10-8 against the Magnus 3-1, so this lane is going quite well for the Dire side. Quite surprisingly, Magnus doesn't have a point in Empower, so he will have only a 4 damage lead on his right clicks. But that might be the reason why he's getting out-denied and out-CS'd. Mid lane, we had the Morphling dying, which I missed. But as I said, playing Morphling into Viper is a rough matchup. Right, and it seems like Ursa is back on lane, TP to top, ready to fight. Immediately putting on the pressure, but he is getting low because of the Battle Hunger and the Wyvern Splinter Blast. But nothing too crazy. He also has 2 Tangers, so he's going to be fine. Viper picking up the rune over here. Which means Morphling is going to freely CS and deny on the wave. Going for the bounty runes next. Sorry, for the water runes actually. And in the bot lane, the lead is growing for Gyro. He's 21 and 10 right now. Magnus only has 10 CS at minute 4, so he's having a rough time. He's also out of mana. And it seems like we've got a rage buyback from the Ursa. If I saw that correctly. Quite surprised that X is able to put so much pressure on the Ursa. He's actually going to jungle for the next few minutes, it seems like, or at least until the wave hits the tower, but X is doing a great job at keeping the wave back, denying all the creeps. Also making sure he has that space to work with, so he gets the Vanguard as the first item, so he's going to be probably the strongest hero on the map. Especially since I just checked, Viper's going for the BOTs, so he isn't that tanky. But he does have the movement speed, but also his spells to work with. Checking the XP on the bot lane. Gyro does have those 16 denies, so he's quite strong. And there we have it. Ursa is getting bullied again by X and Wyvern, which is, to be fair, quite a strong lane, and he's going to die. Which should... Okay, Mirana does have the point into leap, and she gets out. The carry to carry matchup is quite varying for me. Oh, there we have it. The morphs into the Viper and chases him under the tower actually. He might find the kill over here, and he does it. Adaptive strike secures him the kill. There's the freeze from the Viper, from the Wyvern, sorry. Keep him healthy, and he's just fine and gets out. Bot lane on the other hand, there's the stun from the Nyx. They get the rocket to follow up. And there it is, the Magnus should be dead, unless, nope, the stomp doesn't connect in time, the Magnus dies. Is there maybe a return kill onto the Gyro from the ET? No, there's not. They find the impale onto the ET, so... Wait, there is, Gyro dies, but they find the kill onto the ET. Not the best trade for Gyro, but considering they have killed Magnus before, it's alright for them. And I've got another Steam message. Actually, let me just move up the game capture a bit. So, right, that's better. And we do see the Viper does manage to be on top of the CS charts. He's close to his BOT, so that's going to be an 8-minute BOT. Morphling tanks and Arrow doesn't have the waveform, so he's going to die over here. Yes, he does. Poison attack from the Viper finishes him. That's another kill going to the Viper, and he's having a great time. Just make sure they can hold this mid tower over here. Nyx is doing a great job of burning the Viper's mana. If Viper doesn't have any mana to work with, he is in trouble for sure. Gyro needs to be a bit careful. He does have this lane ward which spots out the ET, so he's going to be fine, but laning against two people at this stage is a bit too much for him. He also has the threat on strength, which I kinda like, because he knows if he gets gone on the 200 extra HP might just keep him safe. Seems like the game has gotten into a stale position right now. The X does have his Vanguard. He won't take any damage, cutting creep waves or jungling. We do see that the Viper is making a rotation onto top. Spots out the Wyvern on the lane. Wyvern immediately TPs, but is she able to make it out? Yes, she is. She's going to freeze in the base and keeps herself alive. Yes, as I thought, the Ursa is going for the Mask of Madness as the farming item. And I feel like the Mask of Madness build on many carry heroes right now is to be preferred, because you get the extra attack speed for farming and you clear through the camps and through the waves very quickly. The Wyvern doing her regular job, trying to defend the top tower as Ursa is going to pressure her, but she has to fly, so she can possibly fly over trees. Ursa's going to cut the wave, and we've got a catapult hitting the tower now, so this should be a bunch of pressure. But since the Wyvern has the Splinter Blast at level 3, he can quite handily defend the wave. Same time, bot lane, their catapult died already, which is quite curious. Probably ran into tower and they cleared the wave. But on the mid lane, we do have the catapult push going on. As you know, you don't want to leave your mid lane open with a catapult and a morph on full RG, but he's going to tank an arrow. And there's the Starstorm, Mirana gets the kill. Which was, to be frank, quite an insane arrow. He successfully defends the tower, which is the most important part. That must feel quite bad for the Morphling. He is 2 and 4, so he's having a rough one. Maybe I can pull up the net worth right now, which you might already have guessed. The X does have the highest net worth, and he does have Blink and Vanguard at minute 11. So we're going to see him probably get into action very soon, as he does TP to bot. And they are probably trying to pressure this tower as they bring 4 heroes down here. Possibly get a kill on the Magnus and try to get the tower. There's the dive. Call doesn't connect yet. He holds it. There's the call. This has to be a dead Magnus. And as a result, they will get this tower. Meanwhile, on the mid lane, do have some pressure going out from the Radiant team. They're actually heading back into Roche. This is probably going to be a free Roshan, as Dire is... They saw Dire is around bot lane. Great call by Radiant. Get this quick Roche. They have the Ursa. They have someone to tank. They get the Aegis. And now the game should be a bit more stabilized for Radiant, considering we do have a 2k gold lead on Dire. There's another call from the X. But he does get slapped by the Stomp. So
Radiant's bottom
Viper might be fine over here unless he gets slowed by the cooldown. He does. There's the Ursa trying to fight, but he has the Aegis, he dies, he's coming back. We do have finally the Viper dying on the left side. The Ursa's trying to fight against all those heroes. There's the RP, insane RP onto 2. But there's the call. So Gyro might be fine over here. He dodges the Echo Stomp. The Echo Stomp gets cancelled. But he's on 100 HP. They find the kill. Double kill for Ursa. And the kill of the Gyrocopter. Nyx is probably going to follow soon. Does he have mana for Carapace? 1 second onto Carapace. Buys him a bit of time. But there's the Yule Scepter into the arrow. And that's a mega kill streak for the runner. Quite impressive stuff from Radiant, especially the RP, nullifying almost completely the gold lead for the Dire side, so they are only ahead by less than 1k. Just sorted by... Oh, there's a call on the mid lane, trying to catch the Ursa, but they don't have any follow-ups. Skewer back doesn't connect either. Getting back to what I wanted to say is the fact that Ursa is going to catch up onto the Viper, so he might overtake Viper maybe in farm, especially since he's capable of farming those Ancients with the Empower. On the bot lane, we might have another kill. There's a nice Carapace from the Nyx into the call. They do have the Impale into Mana Burn. There's the Culling Blade from X. The movement speed makes sure they can disengage nicely.
middle tower is under attack.
Okay, we have some... Yeah, something that I really like is the ET utilizing the Spirit to deward this cliff, so he has a bigger area to cover, so he might find wards on the left side, but they were on the cliff this time around. Since the bot tower has already fallen on the Radiant side, the next dire objective would be to take the mid tower, which is also quite low, with 500 HP. And there's no Roshan available, so this has to be the next objective, as we see a nice impale onto the ET. But he's fine as he's going to TP out to base, actually. Probably just some quick reaction, because he was in danger.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top
Something
tower
that's
is under attack.
really good for Dire right now, at least in the state of the game, is the fact that they do have this top tower alive on the safe lane. Makes sure they have, or rather the Radiant doesn't have access to the Dire jungle yet. There's an arrow onto the Nyx, but he's going to be fine. Yule's onto the Morphling on the top side of the map. But since the arrow has been expanded already, he is going to be fine. There's an aggressive waveform forward into the RP, into the Winter's Curse to save. But does it actually matter? Ursa gets the Enrage off, Morphling is on the tower, gets the Morph off, turns into Viper, starts hitting people. But there's the waveform out, he's going to be fine. As a result, we only have X dying. Even though we did see some big ultimates expanded, like the RP, we also use the cooldown. And the Morph. And the Morphling does have his E-Blade.
Dire's top tower
Only 2 points into Adaptive Strike. But he's getting these levels really quickly. Another point. Just got there. And we do expect to see some high burst damage.
Dire's top
Shotgun
tower
combo.
is under attack.
And we're going to trade towers, maybe? Okay, there's the glyph from the dire side. They hold on to this tower for a bit longer. On the mid lane, on the other hand, the Morphling tanks another arrow. Is there any follow-up? There's the Starstorm. Cold Embrace to save. But the magic damage from Viper, is it enough? It's not. Okay, he gets the strength morph off. He hesitated a bit on his waveform, so he doesn't get out the Ursa, catches him with his overpower. There's a stun onto the Ursa. He does have his enrage, so he's going to be fine. In the worst case, with the diffusal blade onto the axe. Will slow him down. There's the cooldown. It does clip the Ursa. He doesn't have enrage, he's stunned by the rocket. And there should be an axe call to follow it up. And they trade Ursa for the life of X. But they are still holding on to these mid towers, both for Radiant and Dire. They're getting low, probably at a 200 HP. And the next thing I'm looking forward to is going to be... Oh, he tries for the skewer back. Did he actually see the Nyx on a ward? Don't think he did. Maybe he clipped this ward over here. Magnus, of course, doing a great job of keeping the Ursa empowered. He's probably... Yes, he is going to stack this camp for the Ursa. To accelerate him a bit. Check the net worth. We see Ursa has almost catched up to the Gyrocopter. They are only 400 gold apart. And this should be a mid tower secured for the Dire side. All the Radiant heroes are spread out on board in the jungle and the triangle. There's an RP on the Gyro. He does have the BKB. He gets frozen. He's alive. Does he get off the BKB in time to run out? There's a nice saving Winter's Curse from the Wyvern. They turn onto the Ursa. He gets off his enrage. So he's going to be fine as well. Gyro needs to be a bit careful over here. He's only at 500 HP. But I believe the Wyvern can freeze him. There it is. So he's healing up almost to full HP. The tip is out to take the bot area of the map as he draws nicely onto the minimap. Push out the bot area, the bot wave, and take over the bottom jungle. So X decides to go for the BKB next. Just definitely a great choice considering they have all this magic damage from the Viper, from the Mirana. The ET Storm is also a big factor, right? But there are also some spells he can't BKB, like the RP on the Magnus. There's a blind arrow, doesn't connect on the X, so X is fine around here. What I really like is the smoke over here. They're going to run out towards the triangle. They do not get the call onto the Mirana, so she leaps out. There's an arrow that's also going to miss. And Ursa has to be a bit careful, he's getting quite low. He does have the enrage and the lifesteal to fight, but he's dead already. Dead for 50. Morphling is silenced, but he's getting healed up by the Wyvern. Arrow onto the Morphling. Do they have enough damage to... They do have enough damage to kill the Morphling. ET is now on the run. As they silence the Nyx, so he might fall over here, because he doesn't get off his carapace, he's going to die. Burns to the Orchid. Burst damage. And there's an arcane rune for the Gyrocopter, so he's having a blast. Blasting through the jungle camps, I guess. Okay. Viper curiously only has 1 point in netted toxin, so that means he doesn't push waves really fast. He doesn't also have a Maelstrom or something to help him push the wave. But the corrosive skin does enable him to frontline, take up the damage, and tank it for his team. Especially since they don't really have a frontliner. Magnus is only playing around his RP and skewer back, as you can see in his build. The ET isn't capable of tanking, so it's definitely the right choice from the Viper to max out his corrosive skin first.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Something that's quite interesting in this game is the fact that both carries have picked up and Diffusal Blade. Because the heroes of the likes of Viper and Ursa don't want to fight with low mana, as well as the Morphling doesn't want to fight with low mana, the X neither, so be like it's on both sides. It's a great pickup. So Dire tried to attempt the Roche, but Radiant is aware of the fact that it's going on. So they're going to smoke up themselves on Radiant, try to wrap around the high ground over here, but I believe they do have a great read on Dire. They're holding the high ground, they know they are coming. They spot out the Mirana, they de-ward this ward immediately. There's the shotgun combo. It does not have vision, so Mirana is going to be fine. There's the potential from the Radiant lineup. They are going to blast through this. Wait, the Aegis is still on the ground, nobody picked it up. Ursa finally does pick it up. There's no RP coming out. The Magnus blinked in, he has to skewer out because he's low HP. The Ursa is chasing the Gyro. Gyro has to run, he has the BKB on. There's a rocket. Is not going to connect because there's an ult from the Nyx. And they might have to sacrifice the X over here. They do. It's probably perfect scenario for the Radiant side. They do find 2 heroes. And they get the Aegis. They get the cheese, I believe. Yes, the cheese is on the Viper. And Wyvern might have been caught out over here. There's the RP finally to follow. And does he have enough damage? He doesn't, but backup is here. There are 4 heroes from the Radiant side. Find the kill onto the Wyvern. And that's the RP expanded. There is a 4k lead now on the Radiant side as the Gyro gets hunted by the Ursa. And he finds the kill. It's so much burst damage from the Empower on the Ursa. And the game has not completely turned around, but it has turned around from a 2k lead for the Dire side into a 6k lead for the Radiant side. As we see, of course, Ursa is going to set the pace over here. He's farming aggressively in the Dire jungle. And the Dire is playing the dodge game. We have X on the bot lane, farming up. His BKB, right, now he gets the recipe for his BKB, which will be a big step forward for him. So he can actually stand his ground unless he's directly attacked by the Ursa. We do have the Ursa TPing back to hold the mid lane. And Radiant finally takes over this outpost over here. So they control both outposts. Because Dire can't take the bot outpost right now. And again, the Empower, he just cleaves through these jungle camps on the Ursa. It does have a Satanic picked up already. So Aegis Satanic Even if he dies, he will be able to heal up completely, which is effectively going to be 3 lives as long as he gets to hit stuff freely. There's a Carapace arrow by the Nyx, but I don't think the suit is going to save him. No, it does not. They pick up the kill onto the Viper. And Viper already dominating. While I'm talking, they do find the Gyro again. Just 2 heroes. I do like the butterfly pickup on the gyrocopter, so he can actually man fight against the Ursa. But I feel like it might be too late at this stage, because they have the 7k lead on the Radiant side, but by no means the game's still open as they find the skewer onto the Morphling, waveform back, there is the sleep, it is going to connect. They focused on the Wyvern, so she can't get the heal off. There's a big Earth Splitter onto the Morphling. Morphling has to buy back. And there's a call on the Ursa. But I don't think they have the burst damage to bring him down. Now X is in trouble, he has to run. He has to BKB off the slow. And we do have another buyback from the Wyvern. Gyrocopter just respawned over here. So if the Radiant side manages to find either Morphling or the Wyvern, this game might either end really quickly or they get at least 2 sides of Rex. Because there's only one side that has towers for the Dire side outside of their base. They are looking for the Ursa. He still does have the Aegis and he's quick enough to blink away, so the X misses the call. Radiant is smoked up right now. They are hunting. They definitely know where the Dire players are. And they find the Wyvern the best target to go on. Wyvern is dead. Doesn't have buyback. And they might be able to find more with these Moonlight's Shadow. The Morphling is playing really aggressively down here. He's getting blocked inside the trees. Ursa is there to follow up. He does TP out, but they do have the skewer, or rather they get the Yules off. And Morphling is going to die without buyback. We pull up the buyback status over here. So we do see Morphling and Wyvern don't have buyback for quite a while. The only good thing, or rather something that isn't as bad, is the fact that Dire died on the bottom side of the map, so it takes him quite a while to run over to the mid lane as Radiant. But it seems like the Rex aren't going to be safe. Might be, very well might be 2 lanes of Rex actually. They do have the shard onto the Viper, which means he's getting additional tower damage with his poison attack. There's another skewer back, very nice played from Magnus, another call down. Into this stomp, he gets the sleep on the 2 people. There's another X call, but it's interrupted by the Winter's Curse. They find the Magnus, he does have his RP, so it feels bad to die right here. They find the Wyvern on the other side though. Nyx bought back already. Viper's really low, he gets off the cheese. So the call is nullified. X in a bunch of trouble, but he's able to walk it off. Okay. Seems like they just get a tier 3 tower, so the hold is successful from the Dire side. Morphling is chilling on the bot lane in the side of the trees. Whatever he's up to over here. Maybe his pizza delivery service arrived and he had to open the door. You never know. We do have a Wind Waker build up from the Miranda. is quite curious to me. I mean, you can save your teammates. Can you use it on a cursed, Winter's Cursed target? If you can, it's probably a genius pickup. But I don't think he has the cast range to actually do so.
Who spoiled that shot?
We do have another smoke up from the Radiant side over here. They see X on the wave. But is it the right target to go on? They get the sentry down. They know Dire have vision over there. Gyro's in a bunch of trouble. He gets jumped by the Ursa. There's the RP onto 2. Nyx gets the carry pass off, but it's not enough. Gyro's dead already. X is also bursted through the BKB by the Ursa and his overpower. And Ursa also has the shard, which gives him 1.5 seconds of enrage after he leaps. There's the jump forward, he finds the Wyvern, she's silenced up and bashed. They find the kill. And it seems like after 34 minutes, the game's just over. They do have the poison attack to shred through these buildings. They hit, finally, the Ancient. Okay. Let's talk some post-game analysis, maybe. I think the obvious thing for this game would be that the that the Morphling is probably insanely tilted. Because he died 10 times, then he went AFK. On the bot lane, didn't even bother to buy the Shadow Amulet and just went AFK. Yeah, and actually great comeback by the Ursa, because he even though he also raged at the beginning and bought back for no particular reason other than his emotions, he does manage to find a way back into this game.